Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here. Today we're going to be reviewing parts 1 and 2 of Scream of the Shalka. Shalka? However you're supposed to pronounce that. Which of course is basically the 40th anniversary story with Richard E. Grant as the Doctor. This came out in 2003 and aired from November through December of 2003. Again, basically the 40th anniversary story. Of course, I've been aware of this story for a long time. It's kind of an unofficial Ninth Doctor story. Although personally, looking at it from what I've seen so far, it could just be, I think it could be canon. It could just be a future incarnation of the Doctor we haven't seen yet. I think that is very possible. I like the animation. I know it's done by Cosgrove Hall, who also did the animation for episodes 1 and 4 of The Invasion, and they also did the animation for Count Duckula, and I used to love watching me some Duckula back in the day. I really like the animation here. It moves a little more fluid than I would have thought. It has a nice fluidity to it. Kind of at some points with the creatures reminds me of the Flash animation from Paul McGann's Shada, but considerably better than that. I think the creatures are animated really well. I like them. And then the characters seem animated nice. Again, it's a little limited, but I think it pulls off what it's going for really well. I love Richard E. Grant's Doctor. I am loving his Doctor in this. I've watched parts 1 and 2, and part 1 is about 15 minutes long, part 2 is about 10 minutes long. So about 25 minutes in, he's already a better Doctor than Whittaker's Doctor. Like by a long mile. And to be honest, I think I might like him even better than Colin's Doctor. Going off Colin's TV stuff, his audio stuff's a lot better. He just feels like the Doctor. He kind of has this Capaldi feel to him, which is interesting because he predates Capaldi by a decade. But he does kind of have that, not as emotional outward like Capaldi does, that kind of hard exterior. But at the same time, he gets some nice little witty quips in too. Like when the one woman who it seems involved, the one that's pretty much a pseudo companion here, is talking to him, and you're not human either. That's right. You know, so what are you? And he goes, mildly annoyed. I liked that. He has a few other times where he has little quips he says that I find amusing, but he says it in this very deadpan Leslie Nielsen way, which works for what I think of as his Doctor. Like I already, 25 minutes in, feel like I have a grasp of his Doctor. That's good writing, and I'm really enjoying that. I also like that he kind of reminds me of 3 in a way. He gets mildly annoyed by authority figures like the guy from the military who wants his help, and he just wants to get his TARDIS and get out of there. Plus he's annoyed at what looks like the Time Lord sending him on missions, kind of like 3. So I feel like there's some 3 in there. I feel like there's a little bit of 8 in there as well, which I like, kind of with the sense of humor, even if he does it in a more deadpan style. So I'm really enjoying his Doctor a lot. The pseudo companion is fine. I like that she's got spunk. She's got some spunk to her. She wants to try to do something to make a difference, which I like. And even the guy she lives with, which I guess is her boyfriend and hasn't really said, he's a bit scaredish, but I kind of get it considering the circumstances. I think a lot of people in real life would be kind of like him. So he's fine. The creatures are an interesting concept. Again, the animation for them is realized well. Their shrieks are interesting because they do sound very inhuman and very non-terrestrial. They do get annoying after a while. I noticed that kind of by the end of part 2, the shrieks were starting to irk me. But they are very original shrieks. I do like them. They just kind of are starting to annoy me. The Master being in it's interesting. I knew from the cover he was going to be in there. I just wasn't sure in what capacity. Finding out he's inside the TARDIS. So was he traveling with the Doctor? Was he the Doctor's prisoner? Kind of like Missy? I'm curious what's up with that and how he's in the TARDIS. I also like the TARDIS interior. What little bit we see of the TARDIS interior in that one scene when he kind of confronts the leaders of the Shalka or whatever they are. The TARDIS interior looks phenomenal. I love that it has that kind of hanging column. It looks really good. And then I noticed Derek Jacobi, or however you're supposed to say his name. I noticed Derek is voicing the Master in this. Which again, about what, 4 years before he would actually play the Master later. And he's doing a good job. We don't see much of the Master in this, but already he feels like the Master. Now, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be Anthony Ainley's Master or Gordon's Master, or just a Master that looks similar to theirs, because that's just kind of what the Master mostly looked like at this point. But he's doing a good job. I've liked what I've seen of him so far. So I'm enjoying the story thus far. It's had some good pacing. I like the incidental music. It's been a really nice treat. It must have been nice in 2003. I think by this point it had been announced the Modern series was coming, but it was still over a year away. For Doctor Who fans to kind of have a new adventure that wasn't just an audio adventure, but to get a new adventure they could watch on screen. It must have been a real treat, I would imagine. I'm certainly enjoying this. I really like Richard's Doctor. I really, really think he feels like the Doctor. Like he's in command of the situation. He already thinks he's figured everything out, which I like that. So far, parts 1 and 2, really enjoying the story. Looking forward to seeing more of it. So, Scream of the Shalka. Parts 1 and 2, what do you think of it? Comment down below and let me know. Richard E. Grant's Doctor, what do you think of it? I still think he could just be a future incarnation we haven't seen yet. I would love to see Richard E. Grant show up as the Doctor in a story. Like Shooty meets a future Doctor, and it's Richard E. Grant, there for it. Richard E. Grant's a phenomenal actor, would love to see it. Other things to do, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out, and I certainly appreciate it. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me that way. My entry-level tier is only $2 a month, and that is link to that's down there as well. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my mind just went blank. All of my patrons. I think I was trying to say companions, that came out weird. All of my patrons, I appreciate that. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review, and a link to my Amazon wish list is there as well. And I want to give a shout out to Ian. I believe Ian sent this to me. I think Ian has something else coming as I'm recording this too. But I really appreciate it. It was on my Amazon wish list, so I appreciate him clicking on that because I'm really enjoying this. It's such a treat. And most importantly, thank you for watching.